Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, family. How are we doing today out here, right? The 19th of January. Man, this month flew by, didn't it? This month flew by, y'all. Man, oh man, right? One day before, matter of fact, let's put some respect on it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend, right? That's just because we're gonna do it for the Super Bowl, and we're gonna do it for St. Patrick's Day if that falls on a weekend. We're gonna do it for Memorial Day, right? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend, y'all, right? As they've shortened down the phrase, MLK Day weekend. Rest in peace to this brother, holy man of God, to stand up in the pulpit at a time of Jim Crow era. Let me say part of that. We'll say part of that. Hopefully, God willing, we'll talk some more about that tomorrow. Anyway, welcome family in us who are the 1,000+ strong, who believe in, who search for, who seek after, hunger and thirst for that which is a different view. Family, welcome in and thank you for your support, right? Today's topic, we are going to be talking about TikTok. As y'all can tell, right? And business in general, the business mindset in this country, because in the planet too, this conversation has to happen. We have become, as you've heard me say, we have become drunk off of massa, more importantly, greed, because this is what we started off calling it, and then we used the word massa to kind of encapsulate that thought process, kind of bring it all together, right? Understand, folks, you got high levels of technology going on in this life. Lies, tricks, and deceit, foolishness is another way that it is said in scripture. Again, when you break down, as we've done on the podcast, you look at the word fool. It ain't talking about somebody who's just acting stupid. We're talking about fool as in the verb fool, where you are tricked, or where you trick someone, you dupe them, deceive them. Foolishness is going on out here. Illusions, y'all. People with the thing thinking it's the thing and it ain't. And something to drive home this, since it's on Sunday, the Sunday message. And we got preachers out here who are okay parading around those who are hurting instead of helping them on some old school mentality that was out of balance then. Exactly what we talk about on this podcast. People stuck in a pride, our elders. Let's be clear. There is a level of respect, as it should be given, to our elders and ancestors. But they are human, ladies and gentlemen. They grew up in a time of great duress and pain. And as a result, what you get out of that is not always pure, because the water source is tainted by death and destruction and division, right? So we're going to deal with one today. I believe this was in Virginia, somewhere in the considered South, so on and so forth, right? We're going to let it play.
I want to apologize to everybody in here because I am pregnant. I'm sorry, y'all. And I just hope that y'all all forgive me and keep on praying for me.
The church praying for you. We ain't gonna condone your sin now. We ain't gonna do that. Ain't no baby showers going on. That's what you lose out there. You have a baby out of wedlock, ain't no baby showers. And nobody at this church about to attend one.
So we're going to go a little bit further in the video, right? We're gonna go a little bit further in this video, not to the part where where this preacher here is addressed, because again, it's a little bit too much division there. We can have certain now listen to me, family. Okay, we understand, right? Because your boy is very passionate on this type of stuff. We have been doing this mess, this backward mess. Can I be very clear? So we're talking about back in the day, because this is a holy thing. Your boy was growing up in the 80s, right? Coming off the backdrop of the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. Shout out to my family, right? Groups of my family here who were born in this time period. We have got to get used to, ladies. So you want to come up. So we're talking to the black community now, as we are in, again, MLK Day weekend, right? You want to come up in the black community, there's certain things here in which we learned that was not necessary. You're going to have to let it go. One of them is hate for the white man or white woman. It's time to let that go. You are not going to do what is necessary for your calling. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there is specific and general speech. We're talking to one group of people right now. You're going to have to let that go. And this thing goes to each people group, by the way. We're going to have to let it go, y'all. The reason that the man was able to ban TikTok, okay, we're going to use some words that come from the 60s and the 70s, right? The black movement, the man, the establishment, right? Massa. The reason that was able to go down is because we are too stuck trying to do this thing their way. This is not a disruptive kind of thing, because this is normally the poor excuses they start using with that. We are talking about where the thing is constructed incorrectly and partially, and where to bring some balance and healing to it, we need some changes. You had too many people on TikTok. This is a TikTok video that we're going over right now. Again, when the light is shown brightest is where you don't want to, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me nothing about it. I'm good living in the dark. And that's what you got going on. One group of people telling the other one that they're living in the dark, and the other one trying to get away from the people, telling them they're living in the dark to please leave them alone. Showing them how in the dark they are, not wanting to listen to it. That is what you got going on. As is said, the pot calling the kettle black. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to let it go. If you want to move forward as a society, you're going to have to let it go. Otherwise, because life already has predisposed patterns, we talked about this last year. Because life has predisposed patterns already sewn into it, certain actions, like it's been said in science, has an equal and opposite reaction. You take that gun and shoot someone, what do you think is going to happen back to you? Unfortunately, you live in a government where a criminal system is meant to protect the criminal and not bring true justice from criminal action, which is why you got a felon going in the White House starting tomorrow on MLK Day. We can continue to look away at these things, ladies and gentlemen, or we can embrace it and work together to bring the necessary change. Bringing this woman before the pulpit. Listen to me good, my Christian, Jewish, and Muslim brothers and sisters, us of the Abrahamic faith. Many of the things that are passed down from the Maker, right? We're talking the Torah, we're talking the holy words coming from the Maker, and the ones that are in response, aka in worship to those holy words. The game of telephone has gone sideways, y'all. I gotta be clear. Again, you can believe it or don't. When you're told in Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun, ladies and gentlemen, y'all go look back in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, some powerful stuff that I heard listening on a podcast that opened up my, again, shout out to your boy, man. Y'all, yeah, we just gonna give good mention, man. Yeah, y'all go check out Real Black Consciousness Forum podcast. And this brother, now information that came to him, talking about the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and the powerful thought that's there that people do not give any credit to. And it's cool. We all got different thought processes on things, right? Still, we can work together in peace, which is the part we are missing. There's nothing new under the sun, y'all. There's nothing new under this. The same slavery that you saw in the 1500s was going on in AD 0, right? The same, and before that, the same mess that you see, the sexual impropriety where men look at women as sexual conquests instead of their partner. Gentlemen, if you're going to hold to this, you the head of the house, then you are the head of where the responsibility falls. And unfortunately, fellas, we are okay parading around women in an attitude of sexual conquest that we learned improperly from our elders and ancestors that was taught to them in times of great duress. And it is not helping. The original sin, since this is one of these things that comes up, is this idea of original sin in the church. We're just using it as an example. So the original sin of, y'all can go look up online what the whole thing between that, for those who don't know. Just type in what is the meaning of the phrase original sin. Give yourself a little quick overview. Again, stop believing everything online. If everything online is a part of what's the word they're using? It's a part of national security. This is the issue with TikTok being shut down that we talked about last year, but we're just going to reiterate because, again, repetition is necessary for learning. If you really do assume that any platform where you got lots of people talking the truth of a thing, shining light on issues, you've had issues we've seen different expression on transgender folks, homosexual folks, our Latin brothers and sisters, our Asian brothers and sisters, of course, our black brothers and sisters. We've seen unity come together with our white brothers and sisters. See, anything we talking about in a time of war now, conflict, right? One of the things you use to take it down is end the communication. I'm not talking conspiracy. We're talking about what goes on talk to the military. If you don't believe what I'm saying, look it up. You end the communication. And people that bought it hook, line, and sinker when you think that you shouldn't talk about wages on your job. You can't talk about things of belief. This is the safe place where you're supposed to be able to speak these things. Of course, not in a disruptive pattern where you're not doing business. We understand that. We're talking about the freedom to speak on a thing in a respectful manner, of course. Things of finance, can't talk about that. Things of your government, you can't talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, man, the play is right before you. Your enemy is right in front of you. This is not this. Not looking toward the devil and God and all of this. Stop making it as spooky as what it is, man. The ball is in our court. Let me find the rest of this thing here real quick, and because this is coming from this is a video article you can find on YouTube. YouTube hadn't gotten shut down yet. we'll just keep it going, all right? So here's another example again of another TikTok video. People see, unfortunately, folks, really, this is why I've been saying this lately. People are okay being a good house Negro. You think masks are gonna take care of you, man. And again, just shout out to another person that unfortunately it was because of a play of many external forces. There was this play between Brother Malcolm X and Pastor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where they were opposites of each other. And in truth, when you look back at what they were both talking about, neither one was opposite. You had two things of a similar thing existing in one plane. That's what it is. There is defense against those who are your enemy, who are trying to hurt you. That's a real thing. You can put victimization on it, victim-splaining, all that mess. You can do all that all you want to. You got people out here who's trying to hurt you. You should defend yourself. That's number one. Right, and that a lot of that is what Malcolm X was talking about. Right, the other side of this is what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about, where we can operate in a level of peace and love toward folks. Because again, if you continue to operate in hate towards someone, that hate's just coming back to you, because karma is a thing down here, and what you sow, you will reap. Clearly, as this pastor don't understand and showing a level of grace, you got to sit there and talk about, we ain't giving you no baby shower. So what? We're not going to support the life because of the way the sin was. See, and this is how they treated the black man and woman. See, they think you are cursed, right? Unfortunately, because they're using Holy Scripture improperly. They think because of what happened during the time after the flood that group of people is not we skip in when you go into the New Testament. We got excuses a mile long for that. The fact that from one blood all nations were made had nothing to do with Ham, Shem, or Japheth, right? We're just saying what it is. Y'all can look all this stuff up, man. There's a whole thing out there that because Ham uncovered or again abused his father, right? And that is the supposed line through which black folk come from, that the skin color you have is cursed because of that. I'm saying how wild of a thing, right? But that's what there's another way how they set up why we always doing wrong, this, that, and the other. Not the fact that the external thing, right, of people doing wrong to us and holding us back and we can't read and we can't have guns and we just, all of that, right? Not that part of it, right? You have the GI Bill come out, but no homes for the brothers when they come home from war. Never mind. We gonna leave it alone because we're gonna keep doing this. We don't know Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. We get it. We get it now at this point. But there's power there when you start talking about Bruno. That's why they shut down TikTok. Right? So let's just keep going.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
Unfortunately, there's a little ad here. My apologies.
$118 for car insurance. That's how much I was paying. Okay?
We'll just mute that a second till we can skip here. Sorry about that. All right, let's go.
For her pregnancy by a pastor. Now you gotta watch this.
Year was circa 2009. I was 18 years old, fresh out of school, about to start college, chasing behind some little boy. Their crowning achievement was the young man that I followed up in there. You hear me? He was a virgin at 18 years. They had him for 9 years. They were their golden child. They did not want me there, but there I was. Anyway, I snatched that young man's virginity up the second we got to school, and I got pregnant the exact same day. And they have me and homeboy stand up, and basically he tells the entire church, we have a sinner amongst us. He goes on to tell the church that I have done the highest level of sin by having premarital sex and conceiving a child, and he wants me to apologize.
To avoid certain language that thing, some of y'all may have seen this video. Again, TikTok is shut down, so you can go to YouTube to see some of this stuff, right? The woman then goes on to talk about the sexual act of fellatio. We're going to use scientific terms, okay? That has happened with other people in the church and other sexual acts that were done irresponsibly in the church. Yet in the church, what you do is take down people, right? You take down others. All this is control out of balance. People drunk on power. We're not upholding righteousness no more. It's going to take some time for some folks to see it. But that's what this is. Again, no different than Paul talking to Peter. If you can eat with the Jews, right? Or you eat with the Gentiles, but then when the Jews show up, you got a problem. You're going to have to make it, you're going to have to, this same mentality, you're going to have to square it away in your heart and mind that everybody has a seat at the table. Just saying. Because what God is cleansed, stop calling unclean. Again, you take that up with the maker, not the people, right? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Where is this brother at? Where was the man who impregnated this woman? See, again, because men is on sexual, you have learned and not unlearned in your mind this sexual conquest. What you do is cool. Brothers, this goes for us all. Stop thinking this simping and capping and all this kind of mess. It's time to let that go. You want to strengthen your family, responsibility got to happen with the brothers just the same as the women. Of all cultures, right? Stop kicking game to these ladies just so you can get a piece of the pie. To rob a phrase from the Jeffersons theme song, right? You finally got that piece of the pie, right? It's time we stop, y'all. Right? We either show all cards on the table, let that lady know I'm gonna strap you down with a couple kids and I'm out. I bet you won't get none then. Again, y'all, there is a way in which we can do this in decency and order. I'm not saying that y'all can't go out there and freak. That's your choice. See, again, this is the part where the Christian starts going sideways because they tell you, no, you can't do it. Yes, you can. Clearly you can. Of course you can. What? But there is a way of doing things, and you clearly see people doing it. So of course they can do it. You ain't even seen God stop them from doing it. You didn't see God stop Sarah and Abram from borrowing her husband to another woman because she thought she couldn't have the baby God told her to have. And you don't see God curse none of that. Everybody was blessed from that. But I digress. The people was what caused the problem. Same problem you got now in Palestine. In the Middle East, I should say. Because folks won't let each other alone. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. You tell me. We got comments in these things. Again, let's have a healthy conversation together. Let's practice having healthy conversation together. Because I know there's both sides on this thought process. I tell you right now, there's somewhere in the middle. And you know what that is? The middle that's told to you in the Bible. Do what is possible to live in peace. And we are paying the price for not allowing each other to live in peace. Right? There's a whole lot that I could have went into today. There's a whole lot I could have went into today. We'll leave y'all with this. We'll leave y'all with this, man. Yeah, we got divorce on the table. We're gonna have a little conversation on that. This one is just about how we do with each other. Mark 8, right? Mark 8:15. I'm using one verse. I normally don't. This is talking about a miracle with people getting fed, didn't have enough food, and Jesus feeding them, right? Verse 15, talking to the disciples now, because you got to understand the thing. See? When you go look up in verse 11, right? And the Pharisees came forth. Do you know how many times this comes up in the Bible, man? Do you know how many times in the Gospels this comes up? The holy people are doing the mess. The holy people are doing the mess. This is not the Gentile. This is not the Samaritan. This is the holy people doing the mess. That then come back at you when you call them out on it. They call you anti-Semitic. I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, these are Jews, right? This is what we talk. Never mind. And listen. This goes for black folks. This goes for Latin folks. This goes for Asian folks. This goes for island folks all over the planet. Listen. So when your Bible is telling you, right, all have sinned means all have sinned. No, none not righteous. No, not one. There's no group. Right? So this whole Aryan thing that's out there, right? If you talking from a scriptural basis, guess what? That's wrong, because there is not, the playing field is level here. We all rise and fall together. Never mind. And the Pharisees came forth and began to question him, seeking of him a sign from heaven. Can't look at the fact of what's going on right there, the verse before, where Jesus fed a whole bunch of folks with very little food. I wonder where we've seen that before. Talk to our native brothers and sisters about the food fry bread and how it got to that point that they had to make that food along the Trail of Tears. Many different versions of that trail while they were shipped around by the same U.S. government that banned TikTok. And I don't know whether or not if it's back up and running or not, or yet again, y'all can shout me out and whatnot, right? If it is, so be it. If not, either way, you better figure it out real quick in your heart and your mind and in your spirit, y'all, that they can screw with you whenever they so choose. Whenever they choose. Because we have not been involved in our government enough to have the financial and legal backing to be able to have protection for ourselves from that mess. Right? Seeking a sign from heaven, tempting him. So as we close here real quick, let's look at that word tempting. Appealing to or attracting someone, even if wrong or inadvisable. Tempting is coming from the word tempt. So tempts, etymology, right? To handle, to test, to try. You got enough tests in this life, you're going to be bringing extras. Now, of course, they put of the devil in this, circa 1200. Of the flesh, they put that in there. Again, this is some of these things, but we like to go a little bit further, to stretch. Look toward the end of the thing here. I'm just looking on edomonline.com. That's where this ain't nothing. To provoke, to defy. It is attested from the late 14th century in the meaning to provoke. Again, provoke not your children to wrath, fathers. Never mind. People gonna get it one day because, again, life has a pattern. When you do something, this is what happens. So you're gonna keep riding up the ass of your kids, and then this happens. Maybe we stop doing that and we start actually bringing love and nurture to them. Then maybe it'll change, right? Test the spirit, see if that works. I'm just saying, y'all, we're not laughing at people's pain, man. What we're looking at again is how horrible the deception is, and how we just walk right past the truth of it. We all do it, me included, right? He sighed deeply. This is verse 12. Jesus, he sighed deeply in his spirit. Y'all ever do that when you listen to the mess of people, man? Like, yo. No, KJ, there wasn't no slavery going on in the Bible, man. What you talking about? And he's talking about, no. See, the Christian's supposed to live poor and stuff like that because that shows how holy they are. That prosperity message, KJ, man, that was all messed up. No, the message wasn't. The application of the message was wrong. Same thing with the healing movement. Go to the doctor, y'all. It's one thing to believe for power from on high to heal you. Go to the doctor, though. But then again, if we ain't gonna look to the Apocrypha, then that truth we're gonna miss, right? Because you don't see that anywhere in the Bible. Anyway, or I should say the agreed upon 66 books. And he sighed deeply in his spirit and said, why does this generation seek after a sign? Verily I say unto you that there shall be no sign given unto this generation. You got all the information. We got all we need, y'all. We are all we need. You didn't heard me say that before. We all we got, y'all. We are the sign. You walking around in history. Look at your Mexican brother and sister. That's history. That's your sign. Be good to the people that this thing was taken from. You see your native brothers and sisters wearing their feathers and wearing the stuff that came from them. Be good to them. You see your Samoan brothers and sisters. We done looked at all this with Moana and Moana 2 and all. It's time to be good to people, y'all. That's the element that's been missing. Man fighting against his woman, cats, and dogs. It's time to stop that mess. You want health and happiness, balance in your home. You're gonna have to rethink it, man. And this goes both ways. But again, this is talking to brothers, because clearly the men are the ones that's like, the woman is all messed up. Maybe we got to look at this thing different, because that was Adam said to God, it was the woman you gave me. Never taking any responsibility for yourself. So we're going to have that girl stand up in this church house. Where was the boy at? And then you're not going to celebrate life and throw a baby shower because it was out of wedlock? What about that baby's life, though? So you're already starting the game, so you sow what you reap. You're already sowing the game now here where, no, we ain't going to celebrate that. We can't celebrate that because that's unholy. And so that baby is precious from God, though. And that never mind. And, I see what you're doing, KJ. You trying to make occasion for sin. I ain't making no occasion for nothing. We're talking about having a level playing field. Of course, you wouldn't want kids brought out of wedlock. We already talked about that on this podcast. Again, it is a black woman on stage. I'm pretty sure a brother got her pregnant. Playing into that which they are studying of us, which is the thing where how high is the pregnancy rate with black women? 60 to 70%, correct? It's the highest one of the groups. Never mind. Folks can keep thinking conspiracy is the thing all they want to. Again, actions already have the thing to show you the way. It's time for us to look again. Verse 15, and he charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisee and of the leaven of King Herod. It just says Herod, but King Herod. You look after these folks that's got this idea of holiness, but no power there. And you look after these government officials, using them to take from people. That's where it is, y'all. That's just where it's at. I hope nothing but blessings and peace and wholeness to this church. And I hope nothing but blessing, peace, and wholeness to this girl as she brings this child in this cold, cold world, that people stand behind her to help her and that baby, and even wherever that knuckleheaded boy is, to get some wholeness and some peace in their mind and in their heart, that they can live wholesome lives together, even after all of this that's occurred, right? That's what I got for y'all today, family. Thank you very much. Again, look after business, man. Look after your own small business. Look after business, man. They want you powering the machine, not you. There's a difference, okay? We got to respect the balance here of things. Thank you, family, once again for walking this road with me. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.